Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Never on the Back Foot podcast. Now, I think the kind of test match that we witnessed between India and England, the fourth test match at Old Trafford, quite lived up to its billing of being that sort of a blockbuster encounter. We had Ben Stokes probably at his all-round best man, registering a fifer after a good 8 years. England piling on India's misery, getting to 669. India, just giving that sort of a comeback, with Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja just batting their hearts out on what was a very entertaining day fight. Very excited to unpack that as well. And the whole point of this review show is to obviously look at all the pivotal moments that kind of defined the game. That was the fourth test. Leaves the series in also a very interesting juncture. To all the viewers who have joined us in, do share your thoughts in the live chat. We'll be more than happy to take it up through the course of our discussion as well. So yeah, first things first, Hari Prasad, welcome to the show. Naman misses out because of illness. Naman, we will definitely catch up with you in the fifth test. But yeah, your first thoughts on the match, Hari Prasad. You watched it all along, and yeah, just talk us through it.
Before I get to that, I think due to the injuries in the camp, I think it's hit our panel as well. That's why no one had to miss out. But yeah, jokes apart, I think about the match, I feel it was my favorite match of the series until now, I'd say. A lot of batting carnages out there. Bowling was pretty gritty as well from both the sides. Could have been better, but I think it did live up to the expectations. Having considering the fact that most of them are playing like continuous games, and the break did ensure that India play Bumrah and Siraj in both the games. So, but I mean, we'll get to that later as well. But I think resilience from India from the first. In the first innings, Jaiswal and Sai Sudarshan, who came in for Karun, did pretty well with the partnership over there, and then and it continued. I mean, we scored almost 358 runs in the first innings, and I think that came out pretty well. Pant got injured, got hit on the leg while attempting a reverse sweep from Archer, and then came back to bat at the end. I mean, shows a lot of resilience. I mean, I do have some different thoughts on that, but which I'll get to later on. But it does show the resilience and the fact that he's willing to fight for the team, and hats off to him for that. And Washington Sundar again being solid. I mean, a rock solid in that lower order. And saw Shardul Thakur coming back, scored a gritty 41 runs over here, showing that he's trying to justify his place in in the side. So that was another nice thing to see. I mean, there was a lot of expectations from Shardul from the Leeds Test, and he did not deliver. And then, due to the injuries that plagued in the Indian camp, we happened to see him making a return to the side at Old Trafford. And yeah, a good 41 run contribution from his end as well. So that was nice to see. And bowling, I mean, Ben Stokes again being the pick of the bowlers, and he's just continuing his golden form from the last three tests as well. I think he's ended up as the highest wicket taker of the series until now, heading into the test at the Oval. So I mean, he's high on confidence and got that 100 as well in the batting innings. Apart from the two changes that India made, in Sai Sudarshan coming in for Karun and Shadul coming in for Akashdeep, I don't think there was anything else. And straight swaps basically. Pretty harsh on Karun, but understandable knowing the fact that he's not delivered it big until now. Did show some promise in Lords, and probably would have given him another game, but understandable that he was dropped for Sai Sudarshan. Good 50 from him, I would say. Finally, silencing all those doubters, because he comes in with an average of less than 40 in first class cricket, and to come here and score a 50 here, that was really nice to see. So, all in all, I think a good test match. I mean, lot to say about the second batting innings of India, that grit and the way the Indian batters batted out there for 2 days continuously. So it was really nice to see. And all in all, like I said, my favorite game of the series.
Yeah, I mean, favorite game of the series for a reason, right? It just gave us so many talking points. Perhaps each day, each innings had, just so many storylines to sort of unpack. But let's probably start off with India's first innings. I mean, being put to bat first, you again get to a total of what, 358. Probably here, let's talk about, the contributions, right? Yashasvi Jaiswal and even KL Rahul doing their thing. Later, you had Sai Sudarshan who came in, set the tone, and all of that. So just talk us through the top three, being amongst the runs, how much it augured well for India, and that kind of just was imperative, right?
Yeah, I mean, completely. Always having, I mean, we've always struggled with our top three. If not one of the openers, then the number three for us. And with recent chopping and changing of the number three, which happened again this game as well, it was good to see that the top three did do well. I mean, Jaiswal with that 50 and KL with 46 runs, a good like a 94-run partnership that they stitched between themselves. And then Sudarshan came in and continued with Jaiswal. So it was great to see. I mean, something that has been eluding us for a long time ever since Pujara was taken out of the Indian setup. So glad to see that. I mean, hopefully it continues in the further tests, including the test at the Oval. Probably some kind of stability and consistency would be required from the top three, and hopefully this is a start to that. And going into, I mean, pretty disappointed with Gill in the first innings. I think he should have done more. Continuing that slump in Lords, I mean, not the greatest signs, but I think it was then came in Pant and tried that reverse sweep of Archer and then got injured. Unfortunately, had to be carried off in an ambulance. Unfortunate to see, and then. I would say then I think Shadul came in. I mean Jadeja came in later on, and then I think they went on for a while afterwards. And Shadul came in, and yeah, I mean scored that 41. And yeah, forgot to mention that debut for Anshul Combos this series. Flown in as a standby player, and then got the chance ahead of Prasid Krishna. So happy for him, but then the debut nerves got to him, and I think he was dismissed for a three-ball duck. And talking about, I mean, I would say like the debut nerves got to him, and a lot of other things. I mean, Punt's entry point into the game as well. I don't think I was really like I a lot of chat around the fact that Pant came out with a broken foot to play, and they said that it's probably not necessary and would it's just like aggravating an injury or something like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's been done by a lot of other people as well in the past. I think Graham Smith came out at number 11 to bat and a test. Tamim Iqbal in the Asia Cup in 2018 came out to bat with just one hand. Bihari doing it in the Ranji Trophy as well. Shama Joseph bowling with a broken toe at Gaba. And and the list goes on and on. I mean, there are many instances where, I mean, Kumble with the broken jaw as well. I mean, can't forget that either. So a lot of instances are there where the players choose to play despite have being injured. My only concern with the fact with that is Pant came in, I think, after Shadul was dismissed, if I'm not wrong, and where he had to bat with Washington Sundar, and that kind of put a lot of pressure on Sundar as well, where he tried to attempt that hook, and then he got out uh, because Sundar basically takes his time to settle and then goes for those shots once he's settled on. But due to Pant coming there and the fact that he couldn't really run those like those doubles when required because of his foot obviously, and made Washington Sundar like basically try to like be more aggressive in the game and probably go for more runs like that. So I would say that I mean maybe he should have Punch should have probably come in after Anshul Kamboj, because it also put a lot of pressure on Kamboj as well. I mean, he after Sundar got out, Kamboj had to come in and he had to be the enforcer to ensure that like Pant probably does not get a lot of strike or does not run a lot. So put a lot of pressure on him, and he was dismissed for a three-ball duck as well. So not pretty not acceptable. I mean, that was unnecessary for Pant to go in before Kamboj. I feel Kamboj should have gone in before, and probably stitched a partnership with Sundar because Kamboj can bat. I mean, I think he's got a first class 50 if I'm not wrong. Early days, but he's still shown that he can bat a little bit as well. So I think apart from the fact that his entry point could have been much more delayed, I don't see any other problem why Punch shouldn't bat. I mean, it's his choice at the end of the day. He came out to bat in his own will. I'm pretty sure. So it's all in all good. I mean, he knows his body better than anyone. So I think he even made a statement saying that after surviving the car crash, this was literally nothing. I mean, it's just another injury, and I'm sure I've faced worse before. So hats off to him. I think really great to see him come back. And coming to the England bowlers, I think again Ben Stokes, the pick of the bowlers. Um, I mean, glad to see Liam Dawson play. It's a welcome change from Shoaib Bashir. I'll be honest. I mean, nothing against Shoaib, but Bashir. I mean, he's not been the best of the bowlers. I mean, always bowling those free dollies and getting hit. But seeing a spinner from England like in Liam Dawson basically, and like consistently hitting those lines and lengths, and did not. I mean, and his economy rate speaks for itself as well. Did go for 3 runs, and for the in the 15 overs that he bowled. So I would say he was pretty consistent with his line and lengths and kept the batters guessing. I mean, it was clearly seen. From what I saw, I think he was very consistent and showed that I think he's a massive upgrade over the other spinners that have played over the past 7 years because he's returning to the side after having played a test last time 2017 against South Africa, if I'm not wrong. So, I mean, would say that he's basically silenced all those selectors who have chosen other spinners ahead of him. I mean, the list goes on. There's like a Hartley, a Bashir, Moin being recalled from for the Ashes as well. That being another instance, and Tom Hartley, Rehan Ahmed. The list goes on and on. I mean, so I would say happy to see Liam Dawson back, and hopefully he's on the plane down under for the Ashes as well. I think he's unfortunately did not pick a lot of wickets, but I would say that he's probably been a much better than the other spinners who have played for England in the past and the Test team especially. So all in all, coming back to the innings, I would say good show by India. I would say good batting and obviously Ben Stokes is here. I mean, 5 for again and shows why he's one of the best all-rounders. And like I mentioned before in the previous live shows, like his bowling was something that did not overshadow his batting. I mean, his batting was always hailed, but his bowling performances weren't as much as the batting. But I think from ever since the series started, I think he's shown why he's the complete all-rounder, the all-rounding package, I would say, and just continues that with the five that he picked against in the first innings. Archer again with a 3 for as well, and supporting wickets from Vokes and Liam Dawson. So all in all, a good innings for India, um, and Ben Stokes again being the main enforcer in the England bowling lineup.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much does sum up, India's first innings. Saw a lot of interesting things transpiring there. But let's also have a look at our live chat. We have some very interesting comments coming in here. So Sai Smooth in the first innings played very well. Should have controlled that shot as they were targeting him with that bouncer with his fielder. Needs to learn. Probably let me also add on to this question of Sai Sudarshan actually coming in for Karun Nair. A lot of people wanted this to happen because they felt Karun Nair had been given enough opportunities but couldn't make the most of it. So Sai Sudarshan felt like the right kind of choice. So again, what do you, Hari Prasad? What did you make of it? This particular change. Did you feel the team management was still probably a little harsh on Karun? They should have given him another game, or was Sai Sudarshan the answer that India did want for the longest time at that number 3?
Well, like I mentioned in the previous live chat as well, it was a 50-50 call, in my opinion. Personally, I would have liked to see Karun get another game at Old Trafford, but understandable if the management did not think so, because the returns haven't come, to be honest, and he's looked all sorts with his batting. Did show a bit more promise at Lords, but again got out to that screamer of a catch from Joe Root at Lords, and did not really get a big score because of that. So I think it was understandable from the management to probably move on from Karun and bring back Sai Sudarshan into the mix again at number three. It was harsh on him to be dropped after just one game at Headingley, but he was back here at Old Trafford and immediately made a mark, scoring a 50 over there. And I would say like. Good innings from him, and he's here to learn. I mean, he's it's just his second. Uh, Fair enough. I mean, atrocious shot. I completely agree with that. But he's here to learn. At the end of the day, I think he's just two first classes. I mean, two test matches old, and having played games in England before as well. I think he does have a little bit of experience, but I think he's a young player and he's high on confidence on the IPL as well. And I think he's finally shown that in his first innings with that 50 that he scored. So early days for Sai. I'm sure he's going to learn from all these experiences. Rash shots, yes, I mean, happens. Can't do anything. Unfortunately, it does become enraging when you're in such a big good position, and then there are a shot like that comes out of nowhere, and then you get out. So early days, I'm sure he'll learn to probably control that and probably stick to the situation given. And yeah, I mean, good early days for Sai Sudarshan, and I think good times are ahead as well. Hoping that he gets a consistent run at number three.
Exactly. The key word here being hope he gets a consistent run because that's clearly not been the case under this GG era where, the team combination is constantly in flux and it just becomes incredibly difficult, kind of see your position. That's probably his philosophy and way of operating as well.
I think
But
people want
Sachin,
Ishwaran to come in as well. We have seen a lot of tweets saying that probably try Ishwaran as well, especially after the second innings after he got out for a
exactly.
duck. So I mean, the round robin is wanted to be continued, but then people want stability as well. So like I would say, I would say stick to Sudarshan probably, and because I think he's shown some promise with that first innings 50.
Absolutely, yeah. And hoping for the best that the young man continues to get opportunities. I'm sure you must have come across that reel too, right? Where he was, just, I don't know call it shadow batting, just kind of visualizing himself in that situation. It was raining and, he was just trying to get as much understanding and acclimatizing himself to those conditions, which are great signs. So hope, he continues to do well in the test series. We also have another comment from Hardik. He goes on to say the last test that was played at the Oval was a draw where Sari scored 820 for 9 and they declared, are we going to see another draw on the road? This is again probably a question for later, but I'll just take it now anyways because the next test match is something that a lot of people are looking forward to. But do you agree with this, Hari Prasad? Again, are we going to see another flat deck, which is probably going to help the batters score as many runs as possible, and the bowlers just having to make the most of whatever they have there.
I just have a question. I think this was the game where Tom Banton had the 300, no, triple hundred, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but I mean it probably would continue with a flat deck here as well. And I think the weather here in London is not pretty overcast. I think it's not expected to be showering or something like that. I think last week was pretty overcast, but I think it's pretty sunny outside even right now. So I would say I don't think there's going to be any. I think usually in the oval test, the probably the overcast skies probably come in the last few days, but I think the first 2-3 days would probably be pretty sunny, and I think they're going to dish out a flat track as well, because despite England's approach at Lords. Where they did not go baseball. I think they came back to that strategy again in the first innings here at Old Trafford, scoring at almost a run rate of four. And Duckett getting back to his form as well, scored a 94 if I'm not wrong. So I would say that probably they would continue the same at the Oval as well, because I don't think they're gonna shy away from their baseball strategy where they basically play aggressive cricket and try to churn those runs out over there and tire the bowlers. I mean, the Indian bowlers at the end of the day. So expecting another flat track to be dished out. And from the county game against where Surrey scored that 820 for 9 declared. So, I mean, signs that probably another flat track would come in.
Yeah, I mean, the English summer has clearly proven to be that way. We saw the women's series happen at the other end, like, runs being scored plenty, the test series, and so much discussion on the Duke's ball. Like, I think the Duke's ball owner has just done so many interviews at this point that, every single place he's just talking about how the ball is like, they are doing their best, but the ball's wearing out really fast, the players having their two sets and all of that. But let's see how the next test match sort of plays out. And let's swiftly move to England's first innings. And here's where another question from Hardik really would be, apt. He goes on to say that I felt Compose was rushed in sadly. Sure, he's had a great series versus England Lions, but probably one more Ranji season and then he should have been eased into the team. Now, this is another case of, just, I mean, it's just an opinion, right? Because a lot of people, again, on social media felt, Compose was the answer. I think even in our live chat, we were just vouching for this man, that he's not a part of the, squad. What is this? And all of that. And we have another contrasting perspective that goes on to say he is neither pace nor swing. I'm not sure why he was brought in. Harshit Rana could have played in his place. Again, right? You see, that's how the internet is pretty much divided. But Hari Prasad, where do you stand on this? Do you think Anshul Kamboj was kind of pushed into this situation? Because this is not a home test, this is an overseas test in probably the toughest conditions like England. We've seen how the series has panned out too, right? Do you feel Anshul Kamboj was pushed too prematurely?
We probably would have seen a different combos had he stayed from the start, I would say. I think probably as a net bowler or something like that. Because, I mean, it's true. I mean, he was rushed in, like, flown back after the England Lions series and then brought back inside, like, brought back to replace um, Akashdeep in the tests, in the test at Old Trafford. I mean, I feel psychologically that could play a burden, or I mean, could take a toll on you. And even right now, if you see, I think with Pant being ruled out and Narayan Jagadishan being played, I mean, being flown into UK, I think he's already landed here. I would say, I mean, that's also a different situation though, because I think Jural is going to take over from Pant. But coming back to Anshul Kamboj, I think he's been riding high because I mean he took that 10 for in Ranji's Trophy as well, which hasn't been done by a lot of a lot of bowlers out there. I think the last one to do from India was Anil Kumble himself. So I would say that I mean it makes sense. I mean, he's had that great series, but maybe could have probably given a longer rope because and but it comes down to the fact that the selectors probably just wanted to take a chance, as they did with Harshit Rana as well. Without a lot of first class experience, then he was brought in and probably then given a chance at the Border Gavaskar Trophy where he did not perform, but then again discarded, just kept as a backup for the first test, and then had to fly back to India because I mean, he was not required after that. This chopping and changing has continued, and we saw Harshit Rana staying for the first test, and then being flown back, and now we have Kamboj coming back. I mean, there's no clarity on that front, to be honest. And there was a Prasid Krishna as well, and they had to take a chance between Anshul and Prasid, and they probably took a call on Anshul playing because of the fact that he offers more with the bat as compared to Prasid, and that's how it's been with Gambhir. To be honest, I think he's concentrated a lot on batting depth, and could be the reason why Cambodge got the edge ahead of Prasid to play the game at Old Trafford. But yeah, I mean, I would say that it was unfortunate. I think Cambodge did look all sorts in the innings that he bowled. Um, he's bowling at less than 130 kilometer per hour, missing those line and lengths. I think got hit for more than 10 or 12 runs in the first over that he bowled. Fortunately, got the wicket of Ben Duckett, which gave him a lot of confidence. But I think the damage had been done by then, and I mean, he could, despite like I mean, how many overs were bowled? Close to 157 overs bowled by India, and Cambodia got only 15 overs. I mean, 18 overs. Sorry, only 18 overs out of the overs that were bowled, where Bumrah and Siraj had to bowl 33 and 30 overs respectively. So unfortunately, he looked all sorts, and the load had to come back on Bumrah and Siraj at the end of the day. And even they did not look as threatening as before. I think Bumrah looked off color. His pace was down completely. Siraj has been overworked a lot. Keep saying this time and time. He's been overworked a lot and barely gets enough rest. And it was just shown in this game as well. Did pick those wickets, but then just got a single wicket to be honest. And would say that he's overworked a lot, and but unfortunately cannot be rested because of the fact that the series is on the line, and they probably would look to draw the series and have your best combination over this. So, I mean, yeah, unfortunate for Anshul Kambuj. Probably was rushed in too much, but I would probably say the situation in which he was, like being sent back to India, then brought in as a replacement, and then playing immediately, probably was there on his mind, and then eventually, unfortunately, he had to probably not perform as per expectations.
Yeah, I mean, this musical chair situation is clearly not helping the cause. But England, too, right, to their credit, they just had such a brilliant batting effort. At that point, it just felt like, it was game, set, match. India was like out batted. There's no way of a comeback. Because just look at the scores, right? You had Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope, Joe Root, and Ben Stokes, all of them scoring in X's, right? Like, this is something that was probably very deflating, probably as an Indian fan, to see that hey, they're just probably going at it, but also very reflective of how good, right, the batters were and how India's attack was looking toothless. So Hari Prasanth, if you just had to put like England's batting in perspective, right? At no point did they look uncomfortable, and they just looked on top of the game, right? When they were batting.
Absolutely. I mean, they walked the Indian bowlers as much as they could, kept batting back to their old baseball approach, scoring aggressive runs and stuff like that. And I would say that they were pretty on point. I think only Root scored with a strike rate of around 50, 60. Okay, Pope as well with 55. But if you see the openers, Zach Crawley back in the runs. I mean, a lot has been spoken about him not being like up to expectations, or like with an average of 30 or something, and the number of innings that he's played, close to 100 innings if I'm not wrong, which is not pretty acceptable. But I think he's finally back in the runs, scored that 84 of 113 with the strike rate of 74. I think that was, I mean, he's trying to say that I'm probably repaying the faith that the selectors have shown in me, and probably go on to score big in the coming games as well at the Oval and the Ashes down under. So happy for Crawley. I think that was a good knock from him. Ben Duckett coming back to form. I think he's one person who's always tried to maintain a strike rate above 100. I don't know if he does that on purpose or something, but at any given point of time, if you see him batting, and you see that his strike rate is more or less above 100 or like 95 plus or something like that. And it was shown again in in their batting innings, and they scored like 94 of 100 balls. I mean, with 13-4 scored in the game by him. And so I would say that good starts, and Joe Root again, record breaking 150, has climbed to he's climbed back to he's climbed to number two in the all-time run scorers, and it was slightly poetic having Ricky Ponting do the commentary at that time, while Joe Root crossed him. So slightly, quite poetic moment over there. Happy for Root. He's shown why he's the best batter across format. I mean, across teams in this format at this instant, always churning those runs out and being that safety blanket for England whenever required. And he's again shown that why time and time he keeps showing, and this was another instance where he showed why he's the best. And Oli Pope again, good. contribution from him had been a little silent after his exploits at Headingley, but I think he's come back strong, scoring that 71 runs of 128 balls, and had a good partnership with Root as well. So happy for him over there. Um, he's being named the vice captain of the side. I think a lot of responsibility comes to him, and he also is in the same situation as Crawley, where he's got that mid average and not performing up to expectations and not having that consistency that is expected out of him. So happy for him to get that score as well. And then coming to Ben Stokes, I mean, a lot has been spoken about his bowling this whole series because he's performed brilliantly with the ball and here and there with the bat. But then I think he finally got that 100 that has been eluding him for a long time, and getting that 100 and scoring one man with 141 runs. Had to retire out as well due to some cramps, then came back in and scored those runs. So I would say good from him. Unfortunate to see Jamie Smith miss out. I think I was a little scared when Jurel dropped him of Jadeja's bowling, but then he came back and picked the catch of Bumrah's bowling. I don't think he added a lot any runs after the drop of Jadeja's bowling. So happy for that. I mean, it's unfortunate for Jamie Smith to miss out, but I think Naman mentioned it in the previous live show as well. He's allowed to probably falter in one or two innings, given the fact that he's been so consistent throughout this whole series. And Bryden Cars again showing what he can do with the bat. And special mention to Liam Dawson, to be honest. Did not score those runs, but then I think he was resilient with the bat. Like kept frustrating the Indian bowlers. 26 of 65, when you see it as a statistic, I mean, it might be like, okay, fine, he just played any other test knock and did not score big. But then if you actually saw him bat out there, I think he was rock solid. Came back, batted well with Stokes as well, complimented him well, tried to rotate as much as he could, complimented Bryden Cars as well for a bit, eventually, after eventually getting out. And then Bryden Cars went ablaze with that 47 that he scored of 54 balls. I mean, three fours, two sixes. I mean, it was a really good knock. I mean, hats off to him as well. And having your number 11 as Jofra Archer, who can also tonk the ball, I think England had their batting depth sorted. Something which we as the Indian team are trying to figure out, but England have sorted it out very well, and happy to see that. And eventually, they went on to score that 669. However, I felt they could have probably declared much earlier if they had to get a result out of the game, because I think they batted for too long and they probably they were bowled out, I think, on day three or something, if I'm not wrong, and day three or day four, I can't really remember. But I felt like they batted for too long, and that basically made sure that the game, yeah, day four, okay. So my bad for that. But batting until day four basically ensured that, yeah, like there not much can be done out of a result, and the and from England, India's first batting innings, they would probably come out to bat in the same way, and they ended up doing that as well. So I would say, like, unfortunate. I mean, they should have probably declared a little bit earlier to probably force a result out there, and probably like try to dismiss India within runs, within small score out there, and probably chase the target. I think it was set out for them, but eventually they batted until day four, and I mean, the draw was already written there. In my opinion, I feel a result could not be really forced out, because I mean, coming to the Indian second innings, then probably would talk more about that. But yeah, I think they could have declared a little bit earlier had they wanted a result out of it.
Absolutely. It felt like one of those situations where they just wanted to bat as much as possible, break a few records and do things, but clearly didn't help the result as much. But we also have a few comments which go on to say that, with the run feast on all four matches, you need to pity the bowlers, right? From both the sides, who have really had it tough, which kind of brings me to the conditions itself. And I think Hardik has summed it up really well. He goes on to say it might be off topic, but unfortunately, this has been a dry summer in the UK as a whole, where it has barely rained. The pitches have been dry, grass has been cut. We've seen roads according to what baseball wants. That's since that's been the case so far. The Duke balls would wear out. But here, Hari Prasad, do you think the whole discussion that people have been having, that including Kuldeep, would have been probably the answer to the question? Yeah, I mean, just your thoughts on that.
Tired of this, to be honest. I mean, yes, I completely agree. We should have Kuldeep, and we've been talking about this ever since we started our live shows. I mean, first test we wanted Kuldeep to play, second, third, and now we've down to the final test, and we still want Kuldeep to play. I mean, he can bring out that X factor that no one. I mean, that the English batters won't have any answer for. And I mean, I'd like to bring up another case as well. And Rehan Ahmed has been doing well. He's been picking, like, I think he's picked two fifers on the trot, being a leggy as well. We haven't. I mean, it basically shows that probably the leggies might be benefiting from this, and would be a nice opportunity to try Kuldeep out. Having said that, I don't see that happening. Max to max, he can probably come in for Shardul Thakur because of the fact again that he just happened to bowl like 11 overs in the Old Trafford game, but did shine with the bat with like 41 runs in the first innings that he played. So that's the only place where I can see him coming. But will it happen? Unlikely, I would say, because I don't see Jadeja or Washington Sundar not playing the fifth test. They are going to be there. I mean, it's a no-brainer, and probably having a third spinner out there, I don't know. I don't see that happening, to be honest. So I would say unlikely, but I would love to have Kuldeep play the test at the Oval. Hope hope it happens, but I don't see how that can happen.
Yeah, it's honestly going to be a tough one and quite the tough pill to swallow, right, for Kuldeep himself. If he doesn't get a match even in the final test, probably him and Abhimanyu Ishwaran would be, the unfortunate duo who sort of missed out. But I mean, that is like England's first innings, right? Getting to that 669. I think again in the comments we have a lot of people who felt, that they should have declared probably the previous day evening. That was what they were expecting. Then England could have won something. You could have seen a result, perhaps come along. But anyway, England was dismissed for 669, which meant India's case was India's like match was cut out. You had to make something out of it. Probably that's where India got off to the worst possible start. You lost Yashasvi Jaiswal and Sai Sudarshan back to back. India was what 0 for 2. I think this is the whole narrative, and people try to romanticize this whole partnership that KL Rahul, Shubman Gill had, and all of that. But yeah, I mean, Hari Prasad, as much as we don't want to romanticize that partnership, what did you make of KL Rahul and Shubman Gill, right? The way they just kind of pattered. Let's just probably look at this knock, this partnership, and then talk about the other big talking point. But again, just about KL Rahul and Shubman Gill.
I think they headed into tea at 1 for 2, if I'm not wrong. Tea or lunch, I can't really remember, but I think yeah, it was tea, correct, of the four. Like, and they headed into like for with 1 for 2. I mean, you're playing on Old Trafford. There's a football stadium over there. I don't know if it was reminded, if you were reminded of that. A bad joke there. Sorry for that, but. I mean, it was a bad situation to be in with your opener. I mean, basically, they stitched a good partnership in the first innings, and then you see them getting out for that score. I mean, for Ducks, both of them Ducks. So it probably gave a lot of fear to the Indians because all we needed, I mean, it was a no brainer that the game was going to end in a draw. And all we needed was like a few partnerships out there and to probably get us back into the game and not probably lose the game from there. And who better than your senior stalwarts over there, your captain and your other senior opener? KL and Shubman were brilliant, and it was the need of the hour for Shubman as well. Having had those two good games at Leeds and Birmingham, and coming into, I mean, did not have a good game at Lords, and then back to, I mean, had a bad first innings as well, just being dismissed for 12. So I think he had to probably get back into form and show why he's been entrusted as the captain of the side. A lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and from his own words, where he said he wants to lead from the front and probably get some runs with like perform with the bat as well. And I think he did show that with KL. KL, I mean, we've always written him off as a one test wonder, the first test wonder to be honest, and where he falters afterwards. But I think he's been formidable. It's probably been his best series until now, where he's been consistently performing, and that too on tough conditions like England. I mean, I would say that KL and Shubman were absolutely brilliant, and almost tried to, and almost ended up taking the game away from England, uh, despite that good start. So I would say it was in the need of the hour, and they delivered when they were expected to.
Yeah, I mean, it was that sort of a partnership that will, always be remembered by, not just fans, even spectators there who were just watching it, because India really needed that sort of a resuscitation. And, who better than this? I mean, is it too soon to call them senior duo to, sort of do it? Because Shubman Gill is, captaining the side. There's just so many expectations
Now,
on him.
seniority only because of the fact that he's the captain, so a lot of responsibility comes into him. And being a part of the leadership group, you are already seen as a senior member of the side. So that's only why I said senior.
Yes, yes, that's true. And even just talking about the other major talking point, which has to be the partnership of Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, I don't know if I've just processed this partnership enough, because I mean, no one really saw it coming. At that point, you felt, Rishabh Pant is not going to be batting. India's batting just looks in a very precarious condition. But I think the way the duo batted was just spectacular, right? Especially Ravindra Jadeja, someone who I think has been criticized a lot, including myself. I just feel, that he's not been contributing enough with the ball. But with the bat, man, he's just been a beast, right? So yeah, talk us through that partnership and how much have you liked, Jadeja, the batter, just doing his thing quietly and just executing it to perfection.
Now, before I come to Jadeja, the batter, I'd like to credit Jadeja, the bowler, for this game as well. I think in the first innings, he was brilliant, bowled close to 36, 37 overs, if I'm not wrong. 37.1 to be precise, and got those 4 wickets as well, going for close to 143 runs. So I would say, like, I think Jadeja, the bowler, did step up this game as well. Glad to see that. So, and coming back to Jadeja, the batter, I think enough has been said from all of us. I think me, you, Naman have been like praising Jadeja every opportunity possible. I think he's been rock solid with the bat, and shown that why he's vital to that side. It's probably the fourth or fifth time I'm saying this in the live shows, but yeah, there's no replacing him at the end of the day. I mean, he provides that stability. Also showed with the ball as well, and continued that midas touch with the bat. And we saw Washington Sundar coming in at 5 instead of usual punt, because obviously he was injured, and so they took a chance with Washington to come at 3. And Washington was always a batter, to be honest. I mean, I think he's told that multiple times as well, where he started off as a batter with part-time off spin, and then he got that IPL contract with Rising Pune Supergiant as a replacement for Ashwin, and that's when his bowling journey started, and then he was termed as a bowling all-rounder as much as a batting all-rounder. But I think ever since he started playing tests from Gabba, I think he's shown that he can bat as well. He's good with his technique, rock solid. I think pulling that ball of Cummins back in 2021, I mean, shows that he's got that solid technique with the bat. And come at this series in England, I think time and time he's shown why he can be dependable. showing the faith shown in him by the management, by performing really well, and might not have those scores. Probably had like 20 or 30 runs here and there, but at that in the context of the game, I think what he did was very much required and very much necessary and helpful as well. So I would say that coming to this game, I mean this innings, I think he just went on to score that 100 and really happy for him. I think he missed it out against England in Ahmedabad back in 2021. Scored like around 96 if I'm not wrong in that game, and then finally got that 100. Um, Having that partnership with Jadeja. I mean, I think it was a job that was started well by Shubman and KL and was finished well by Jadeja and Washington. So really happy with that partnership, and that partnership basically ensured that they like prevented any way of England winning the game. So happy. I mean, really happy with that partnership, and yeah, I mean, all in all, happy that we salvaged the draw instead of going down without a fight.
Absolutely. I think again, this is one of those situations where you just wanted them to continue batting because of how fluent they were looking, right? A lot of comments again coming in that said, I commented in the first episode, Jadeja needs to perform as a batter. He proved it very strongly that he is a complete all-rounder. Very true. As much as we, kind of criticized him, he's just, aging like fine wine, contributing so much to the team. In fact, I think you yourself had shared a edit of him, right, being that complete all-rounder chipping in with the ball, with the bat, in the field. He's just so athletic. In fact, a lot of people don't know this. He was Virat Kohli's under 19 teammate as well, right?
Yeah.
Back in the days. They're almost of the same age and just, continue seeing the duo being so athletic. Jadeja continuing to be in this very competitive Indian side, right? So kudos to Jadeja and giving a lot of Indian fans reasons to be happy, to pull off this draw. Now let's picture this, right? Both Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja batting so beautifully, both of them looking poised for a century. Then comes Ben Stokes out of nowhere, and man, wanting to just call off the match, just ensure it ends in a draw. But the duo wants to continue batting on. They want to press for their centuries, right? I mean, it makes sense. They've batted so hard. They've weathered all the storms, and it just kind of is probably the icing on the cake, right? To also push for that century and all of that. So, Hari Prasad, what did you make of it? Which fence of which side of the fence are you on with regard to this? Because you could see a lot of sledging happening there. England being slightly very aggressive in their body language, so to say, but the Indians looking very firm and wanting to push for those centuries, irrespective. Do you think it was controversial? Was it justified? And personal milestones, like yeah, what did you just make of the whole situation?
Honestly, it was a fair call from both the sides, I would say. Um, Stokes wanting to call the game off because there was no other possible result kind of made sense. His bowlers have been bowling the whole day and the uh, 1 or 2 sessions before, and in day four as well. So they were pretty cooked and tired as well. So Stokes wanting to call the game off and probably give them a few more hours of rest kind of makes made sense to me. And he's just looking out for his bowlers at the end of the day and want his frontline bowlers to probably rest because there's not a lot of gap between the Old Trafford test and the test at the Oval. I think it starts on the 31st of July, and there's like only 3 days between the tests, and obviously, and they've not even made a lot of changes apart from the fact that like oh, what I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so basically, he was right in asking for the draw. And apart from the fact that Jamie Overton has been added to the squad, I don't think there are any other changes. So I don't see England making a lot of changes to their playing 11. They're probably going to continue with the same playing 11 as that took field at Old Trafford. So I would say, yeah, I completely agree. He was in his right to ask for the draw, but I think some comments that he made, like talking to Jadeja and saying, "Will you get your century against Harry Brook?" That was kind of unwarranted. I mean, he was kind of being salty over there, trying to act childish and stuff like that. Not acceptable in my opinion. I think you should know the fact that, I mean, you're right to ask for a draw, but you should know that they can. I mean, the opposition can always refuse and continue to play. So, I mean, it would. He was right in asking, but he should also understand that you can't have your way in the you can't always have your way. I mean, obviously the other team has other plans that they want to execute. They were nearing their centuries as well, and it went on in their mind as per Shubman Gill telling. Uh, like leaving the decision completely to Washington and Jadeja to probably shake hands and come back, and they wanted to do it after the centuries. And I think after the game, the post-match talk, I think with Sanjay Manjrekar and Jonathan Trott, that's where they talk about the various cultures, like the difference in cultures, because from their words, Manjrekar goes on to mention that the Indians, when they play their grassroots cricket and probably the domestic cricket, they focus a lot on their personal milestones and probably try to get that and give a lot of more focus to that. But Trott goes on to say that in England, they basically if they don't see any point of continuing the match, they just call it off, irrespective of the fact whether they go on to finish their centuries or personal milestones. So they focus more on the result of the match, and it has to be accepted at the end of the day. Both of them come from different cricketing cultures, and they just thought whatever was right for them. So honestly, not wrong for thinking more so for Washington than for Jadeja, because it was his maiden century in the in the picture. So obviously, it won't be. Like you won't get that opportunity yet again to probably get there. So you have to start from scratch again, and he already missed once with a 96, and I think he was not out that innings as well, so in back in Ahmedabad. So I would say that they were right in wanting Washington and Jadeja to get the centuries, and good stuff by Jadeja to not respond to those comments made by the English batters. I mean, English players. I would say he handled that situation really well. They did not, but I think Jadeja was really calm and collected in that situation and did not react as much as as people would have thought to be. So I think he handled that situation really well, and maybe they could have probably continued after their centuries as well. Just being a little spiteful here. I think you mentioned this as well before we hopped onto the live chat as well, and I've been seeing a lot of other people telling the same too. I mean, you've got the time, probably just bat it out the whole time and probably tire them even more if you wanted to. I mean, they always had the option to do that, but again, I think they just wanted those centuries and probably wanted to call the game off fast, so they just came out. So all in all, I would say neither side was wrong in doing what they wanted, but probably the comments made by the English players was could have been avoided. That's the only problem I had with this whole fiasco. Otherwise, I think it was all right.
Yeah, I think this again takes me back to a conversation we were having just before we went live. The ideal test match purists in us would have wanted, India to have carried on, batted more, like till the end of the day, frustrate England just even more, right? Because that's the whole point of test cricket, right? To just see the resilience and grit displayed by both sides. But it just looked like a case of England, wanting to throw in the towel, and they just like looked very exhausted, and they wanted to probably conserve their bowlers for the next test, which is not, very far away. As we speak right now. But again, now just looking at how the test match transpired, Hari Prasad, like, do you really think that India will, possibly carry on the momentum? Right, this was a historic escape when you actually think about it. We're now headed into the final test. So, when do you think the momentum is with India, and they might eventually even want to push for that win in the final test so as to level the series?
Absolutely. I mean, if they have to bat like this, if they end up batting like this at the Oval as well, probably being resilient and pushing for those partnerships. I would say probably they're on song to probably win the game and draw the series as well. Having said that, as Hardik mentioned before in the live in the comments, with Surrey scoring that 800 odd runs, with Tom Batten getting that triple hundred at the Oval, I would say probably a flat track would be there for us to see, and like a road as people would call it. So I would expect another run feast to happen, and let's see. I mean, even the conditions are not. I mean, the weather conditions would be pretty sunny at least for the first 2, 3, 4 days or something like that. So I would probably say, I mean, exciting times ahead. I think it's going to be a good, uh, like a good culmination to a good test series, I would say, and pretty excited. Having said that, I would say the bowlers from both the ends are probably fatigued, and they probably would want more rest or something like that. But it's the series on the line, so I would say they're gonna come out ablaze from both the ends and probably try to get those wickets and ensure those partnerships don't happen from both the ends, because I think in the fourth test we saw a lot of partnerships happening, like mammoth partnerships to be honest. So I would say like the bowlers would want to come out and probably break those partnerships. And having said that, since it being a road, you could probably expect more partnerships to happen here as well. But I mean, yeah, the test match at the Oval will be exciting for sure, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to look forward to, with respect to the fifth test. Had the fourth test, been won by England, a lot of fans would have been like, yeah, what's the point of a series? England's leading 3-1. But here's an interesting comment that goes on to say, in my opinion, all the matches India's had the upper hand, even though, we are trailing 2-1. I remember reading the stat as well. I think someone took like a summation of all the pie charts, like they show like which team has won which session. And apparently India was in the driver's seat for like a huge chunk in a lot of these test matches. But unfortunately, right now trails 2-1. So again, Hariprasad, do you agree that India has been, a better performing team? And even when you compare it to the teams of, say, 2014, 2018, 2021, this team looks like an entirely different unit. Or again, you're not someone who wants to go into the whole competitive arc and just, probably look at this team in isolation. Like, which side of the fence are you on?
I mean, I don't want to really compare them with the previous generations. I think they were completely different, and they were facing completely different oppositions as well. So, having said that, I would say the current Indian team and the current England team are like on par with each other. They've had their moments, and they've had their like moments where they've probably slipped or have done well. So I would say they're like on par. The pie charts, yes, they don't tell you the whole story, to be honest. I mean, there are shared sessions as well, so that's also there. But I would say that they're pretty much on par. I think they've had both the teams have had moments where their bowling has looked lackluster, and they've also had like moments where they've thrived. So, and the batting has more or less always been at the top for both of them. And again, there have been situations where they faltered as well. So I would say both India and England at the moment have been on par. Both of them are in transition. I think the greats in Virat Kohli and probably Rohit Sharma as well have left the format, and youngsters have been are being tried out. And so, I mean, big shoes to fill over there. And with England, I think with no Stuart Broad and James Anderson, I think they've got huge shoes to fill there as well. So, I mean, both the sides are in transition, although in different aspects of the game, but they are in transition. So, I would probably say that, I mean, they're on par. They've been on par in this whole test series. So I wouldn't say one team has been better or one team has been worse. I would say they're slightly on par with each other. Yeah.
Fair enough. And there's another comment that comes in that says team selection is crucial. So far, it has failed India on the bowling point of view. Also, Hari Prasad, I'll add a quick question here about reports coming in that the team management, Okay, probably BCCI is thinking of getting rid of Ryan Tenduskate and I think Mone Mokul, and they're probably going to still retain Gambhir because the team is going through this whole transition and all of that. So far, I think it's we have four test matches, a good sample size to comment on this as well. Like the team selection has been has come under the scanner too, right? Like just in general, what have you made of it? Do you really think Gigi's position is also probably going to be questioned? Say India go on to lose that fifth test and the baggage of BGT, the New Zealand series, and all of that is still quite fresh.
I've mentioned this quite a few times every time I've come live. I think Gambhir as a test coach has not been up to the mark, to be honest. I know he did win in Birmingham, but I think he's got 3 wins in like 12 test matches that he's been a coach for, and most of them coming against Bangladesh as well, and one against England, one against Australia, and stuff like that. So I would say that. He's like I said, like only one series won, that too against Bangladesh. So the results have not been there. I mean, the approach that he's taken to the game has been a little unconventional, where he's focused on batting depth mainly instead of having those four frontline bowlers, and that's kind of backfiring, to be honest. I don't know if we can probably win games. So I would probably say that. Yeah, I mean, I think his he should also come under under the scanner, and along with Rand Tendoskate and Monem Mokul too. I do understand why they're under the scanner. I mean, they've not been up to the mark, to be honest. Apart from Bumrah and Siraj himself has been like lackluster only because of the fact that he's been overworked so much, not getting that rest, not getting the rest that he deserves. Unlike how Bumrah has been handled, so it's tough times. I mean, I won't be surprised if probably Gumby is given the sack as well, because the results have not been there to see, like to be shown. I mean, at the end of the day, you might have your moments in the game, and there are some aspects where it might work out for you, might not. But at the end of the day, I think, and you go for any type of job. I mean, you do your process and stuff is like solid, and you might be like on song like doing well or something. But then if you don't have those results to back it up, I think it's just word of mouth at the end of the day, and you have nothing to back yourself up with that. And that's the case with Gambhir as well. He's tried out his formations, and it's probably not been working out because the results are not there to be shown. You've lost a series in South Africa. You're on the verge of, I mean, not South Africa, sorry, Australia, and you lost a home series against New Zealand, and you're on the verge of losing a series in England as well. So that basically shows that, I mean, you don't have the results basically to back you up, and there is no, I mean, there is no like, there's no like you can't really take this lightly. So probably they should have a discussion regarding Gambhir's future as the red ball coach as well, and probably see, because just sacking your assistant coaches won't be enough. I mean it's not been very impressive either, but I think the head coach should also come under the scanner for this.
Yeah, and only time will tell where things will eventually end up spiraling, right? Hopefully, it doesn't get too chaotic, messy, and ugly. At least, we can sort of hope for that. And one quick thing before we move on to England, just about the changes, right, for the next test, Hari Prasad. We have Lakshmi Narayanan who goes on to say that Akash, Ashdeep, Kuldeep can be added. A couple of fresh legs should definitely help the cause. I mean, do you agree with this that India should probably enforce these changes? And does your playing 11 look any different from what we did feel in the fourth test?
I mean, I would love to have fresh legs, to be honest. I mean, like I mentioned before, Bumrah and Siraj both are pretty much cooked at the moment. They looked pretty lackluster in the whole Test series while bowling to, I mean, whole match at Old Trafford while bowling to England, and Bumrah's pace dropped significantly, and that was not a good sight to see. And I think on many occasions both of them kept going out of the field as well for like a rest or something like that. So having said that, I would love to have fresh legs coming on, probably an Akashdeep or an Arshdeep to come in. But having said that, the series is in such a situation where we need to win the next game to probably draw the series. And also, there are World Test Championship matches to, I mean, points to be considered as well. So, having said that, will they go with fresh legs? I don't know. They could probably go in with the same lineup, probably with one or two changes here and there. Don't know if Anshul Kamboj will be given another game, because if Akashdeep is fit, then I think he'll probably come back in. And Shardul again, I don't know why he's there, to be honest, if he's not being used properly. So maybe there another change could happen. But I would love to have Kuldeep, honestly speaking. If he would be there, that would be great, and he could probably be the X factor and probably get us the win. I mean, in the test at the Oval. But having said that, will they make a lot of changes given the fact that the series is online and probably you could potentially draw it? So you might want to go with your best players out there. Even Gill mentioned in the post-match presentation that we'll probably take a call on Bumrah only at the fifth, like just before the fifth test. I did not like disclose a lot, so honestly, let's see. I mean, probably one or two changes here and there, but I don't see a lot of fresh legs coming in.
Yeah, India may not want to tinker with this sort of a combination that they have, but again, it's Gautam Gambhir, so we can probably expect the unexpected in that sense. I mean, enough about India. Let's also look at England, right? This is again a side that was probably expecting to run away with the fourth test and probably be on the right side of the result, but now they kind of find themselves in that position where they really want to enforce the win in the fifth and final test. But Hari Prasad, do you think England will, possibly consider resting some of their quicks? You have the likes of Chris Woakes, who has just been bowling so much through the series. Chopra Archer has been doing his thing. Bryden Cars has been used so well. Now, these are all back-to-back tests, right? So, from an England standpoint, do you suspect any changes and possible permutations and combinations they'd like to explore?
Honestly, won't be surprised if they don't make any changes. I think the squad has already come out for the fifth test. Like I mentioned earlier, Jamie Overton has been added to uh, the side, and yeah, I mean even Stokes has like he looked pretty doubtful. I mean, struggled to bowl here and there. Like his fatigue too. I won't be. I mean, that was clearly seen, and also had to go out while batting because of cramps and stuff like that. So I still see him play though. I mean, there's no doubt that Stokes would not miss. I mean, would obviously play the test at the Oval. They might consider resting one of Cars or Vokes, but that's the only change I see happening. Because of the fact I think both of them have played all the four test matches until now, and just to probably give like one game off or something like that. And plus, since the fact that they're in a better position as compared to India, like they're leading 2-1 in the series at the moment. So I would probably see probably one of Vokes or Bryden Cast to be rested, and I mean apart from that I don't see a lot of changes happening. And we kept calling for Zach Crawley to be dropped as well because of how he's performed, but I think he did show that with this 84 runs, if I'm not wrong, yeah, with his 84 that he scored in the first innings. So I think that's not going to change, and honestly I wouldn't have changed even if he had not scored those runs. I mean, they've basically trusted him a lot in that position. Yeah, they could try Gus Atkinson out, to be honest. I think kind of a like for like replacement, because Gus can also bat along with bowling, and that's something that Cars has been doing throughout the series. So maybe having a Atkinson in place of Brandon Cars could be a good choice, to be honest. So let's see. I mean, Cars or Vokes, to be honest. I think one of them will go out, and I would probably have Atkinson in place of Overton, replacing them. So that's the only change I see happening. I don't see even two changes might be plenty for England. I probably just see that one change happening where one of Vokes or Cars goes out, and mostly Gus Atkinson coming in.
Yeah, again, time will tell where England would, sort of want to figure out this playing 11 of theirs, right? I mean, they have a lot of options to consider, but then let's see how it eventually pans out. And almost as we reach the end of our discussion, Hari Prasad, do you want to make an early prediction for the fifth test? I know we don't do predictions on our channel, but then just the nature of the test match, right? It's gotten a lot of us so excited. We're kind of looking forward to it. But any early predictions for you, like any indications that you're getting?
I won't predict a result over here, but all I would say is like it's been a riveting test series till now. A lot of good performances on display, and a lot of players making a mark. New faces, some old faces coming back in. So it's been a good test series so far. So I would just say probably enjoy the fifth test as well, and it would. I'm sure it's gonna be a fitting finish to the test series that we've had until now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as fans, we've been treated to quite the cricketing spectacle. The rivalry has, lived up entirely in that regard. But yeah, that I think does conclude our discussion too. I think we've comprehensively reviewed this test match. I think, all our live chat also was, so active and folks being very cheeky here, not giving out who they think is eventually going to be on the winning side, which is
Same
quite
here,
a
Adit. Same here.
position. Yeah. But thank you so much, folks, for joining in, making the live chat so lively, and for us to kind of and for giving us a lot of order in this conversation too. We also have predictions coming in, and obviously it's going to be India. It's going to be 2-all. Yeah. And thank you so much, Hari Prasad, for giving your best too. I think we had a really productive conversation. For folks tuning in later too, we will make chapters of this video so you can tune into specific parts, share your thoughts with us. And I think we're just one subscriber away from the elusive 550. So do share this video, do share this channel across with your family, friends, and loved ones. And we have one final test left. After that, we will be doing a review. So hope to see you all there, and we can again comprehensively dissect what that test match was. But until next time, folks, stay safe, take care, and keep enjoying the cricket. Cheers.
Bye, guys.